Freeze hits it in the air to center. We will see you tomorrow night.
8th pitch has been the magic one tonight. This time he hits the ball to deep right field. Cody Bellinger has done it, and the Dodgers win in Game 7.
1-1 for Thompson. Batista with a drive. Deep left field. No doubt about it.
Hey guys, Jason 2 back with another divisional breakdown. I'm Blake Crosby alongside Dylan Smith. Dylan, we've already went through the AL West and the NL West. We're going to kick it off with the AL East. But before we do that, let's give the listeners our rankings for AL West. Texas, we ranked 29th. Seattle, 24th. The Angels, 14th. The Astros, 9th. And Oakland, 6th. And the NL West, we got the Rockies, 26th. Arizona Diamondbacks 20th, San Francisco Giants 19th, the Padres 2, and the Dodgers number 1. Dylan, we'll start with the Orioles. We both ranked them 28th in baseball. We'll start with the subtractions. Hanser Alberto, they non-tendered, kind of a surprise non-tendered for me. Iglesias, they traded to the Angels. Alex Cobb, they traded to the Angels, and Renato Nunez. So some notable pieces gone from that roster last year. Why don't you go over the additions that they brought in?
Yeah, they brought in Matt Harvey, which is going to be a big bounce back for that to actually pay off.
Yeah.
Felix Hernandez, he actually didn't look bad in spring last year with Atlanta before the shutdown.
Hey,
yeah, we'll see how that goes. Wade LeBlanc didn't pitch well last year, but they brought him back.
Yeah.
Freddie Galvis, he could poke the ball around a little bit. Fernando Abad, another older guy, sticking that bullpen. Yolmer Sanchez to stick over at second base, and then Jahmai Jones in that Alex Cobb trade.
So Freddie Galvis, he's got an interesting clause in his contract. He actually gets $500,000 more if he gets traded. So it's kind of an incentive for him to produce. So the Orioles can flip him and get something for him. But let's go over this lineup here. I mean, catcher, you got Pedro Severino. He's been pretty solid. Trey Mancini, who's coming back from that cancer treatment last year. Yolmer Sanchez at second base. Rio Ruiz at third. The aforementioned Freddie Galvis at shortstop. You got Austin Hayes in left. Cedric Mullins in center. Anthony Santander in right. And a young breakout potential guy here, Ryan Mountcastle. Finds himself at DH. I mean, he played a lot of the season last year at first, but with Mancini coming back, he kind of slides into that DH spot. Why don't you go over the rotation for the Orioles?
Yeah, the rotation is looking pretty bleak. I mean, we got John Means at the top, who had a good rookie season, I believe. Then Keegan Aiken, Wade LeBlanc, Felix Hernandez, and Jorge Lopez. And in the bullpen, there's not much to be excited about other than Tanner Scott.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Sean Armstrong, who has been okay. Other than that, not much to be excited about. I mean, the Orioles know that they're going through a long rebuild. It's going to be another probably 5 years for them, if I had to guess. Maybe 3. They got Adley Rutschman, who's, one of the highest touted prospects in baseball, and he's the best catching prospect in baseball. So
Mountcastle showed some serious power last year too for the Orioles. So
yeah, and I saw Mountcastle firsthand when I was with Louisville.
Okay.
He's got pop. He does.
Yeah.
Could be a nice little addition there. Obviously, they gotta raise these kids, and then they gotta add via free agency. So it's gonna be a while, but all in all,
because the question I have for you is like Trey Mancini coming off a year of not even playing. Yeah. Like what can we expect from a guy like Trey Mancini?
Well, hopefully enough to get traded at the deadline.
Yeah.
And I think that there was already the Braves were poking around in there, to see if they would be interested in trading for him.
Yep.
But obviously that didn't come to fruition. But yeah, I think the Orioles are just trying to cash in on him at this point. They took care of him while he went through his cancer treatment. And at this point, hopefully he plays well enough to be on a contender, because that would be the best part of the story is him coming back and maybe being a postseason hero.
Yeah, for sure. I got chills when they gave him a standing ovation his first spring training at bat, back from his cancer treatments. Let's hop into the Red Sox here. We got them ranked 16th. Um, the major subtractions, obviously, Andrew Benintendi going over to the Royals and Jackie Bradley Jr., who just signed with the Brewers. They added a lot of people. Why don't you go over them?
Yeah, we got Marwin Gonzalez, Franchi Cordero in that trade for Benintendi,
Mhm.
Garrett Richards, Kike Hernandez. They traded for Adam Ottavino from the Yankees, Henry Renfroe, and then they added Matt Andriese. Um, with their lineup, it's looking okay. Obviously, you got Bogarts at short, Devers at third,
Yep.
JD Martinez looking to bounce back DH. Other than that, you got Renfroe in right, Verdugo in center, Cordero in left, Kike sliding into second base, Bobby Dalbec, possibly in some time at first base. Maybe Marwin will get some there,
Yep.
and then Christian Vasquez behind the plate. So, um, yeah, I
The,
mean,
the
the main question is the pitching,
yeah,
and
the
you can go ahead
pitching.
on that.
Yeah, I mean, you got Erod there, I don't think he pitched all year last year, correct?
No, because of COVID, the
COVID,
heart
yeah,
issue.
that's right. Evaldi, he's had his injury issues. Garrett Richards, who signed that he's $10 million contract, a little bit of a gamble on him for sure. We'll see if he can stay healthy in that rotation. Martin Perez, Nick Pivetta, and I mean Chris Sale. You might see a return from Chris Sale coming off Tommy John. So, in the bullpen, the main guy they got, Adam Ottavino, he's gonna be their closer most likely. They got Matt Barnes. They got a couple more notable guys in there too. So I on paper, this lineup's not bad. The outfield, I don't know what you're gonna get from Franchi Cordero. I don't know what you're gonna get from Hunter Renfroe. I thought Alex Verdugo was really solid last year, in his first season with the Red Sox. I mean, I think Bogarts is hurt right now, so hopefully he can be healthy for the Red Sox to start the camp. But I mean, Bobby Dalbec, he's got some potential. I love the Kike Hernandez signing.
Yeah,
A
great
guy
signing.
a guy that can play everywhere on the diamond, give it kind of some people day up. I'm interested to see like what Kike Hernandez is gonna do in a starter's role, right? Because he was more of a platoon player with the Dodgers, only hit against lefty. So it's gonna be interesting to see how he does against right-handed pitching.
Yeah, before we get into that, I forgot they just signed Danny Santana too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So they got another utility guy,
Hmm.
a little bit of insurance for Bogarts.
Yep.
But yeah, can their pitching stay healthy? That's the biggest question.
Yeah.
I think my main question is can they stay in it long enough for Chris Sale to come back? And
I don't
for
know, but
me, I think they'll be in it, but I don't think that Chris Sale off of Tommy John, you can't bank on him being Chris
like
Sale.
like you can't be in it and be like, oh, we got Chris Sale waiting in the wings. He's gonna come save us.
Yeah.
Like I'm with you there. I'm definitely with you there.
I feel the same way about Houston as well with Verlander.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
we had Houston at 9 right now with Framber Valdez possibly being out for the whole season. I don't know
Yep.
if you saw that.
Yeah, I did see
He
that.
fractured his knuckle and his finger, so they're
Yeah.
saying full season out. So if it's
It,
full
was it his
season,
throwing now? It was his throwing
yeah,
hand?
throwing
Okay.
hand, throwing hand.
Okay.
So if it's a full season that he's missing, I think the Astros took just by losing Framber Valdez. The
He
depth is
was
not
good.
there right now.
He was good in the playoffs too for them
Yeah.
too.
Obviously, Odorizzi's out there. If they get him,
Hmm.
then that kind of replaces that. But
So
uh,
like
moving back to the Sox. Sorry, I just wanted to throw that out there.
yeah, good point there. So there's just so many wild cards in this rotation. Evaldi, I mean, can this guy stay healthy? Erod, I mean, he had that COVID scare last year, like you said. Like when he's on, he's good. Garrett Richards, he's got lights out stuff, right? He's got a very good spin rate on his breaking pitches. But I mean, you look at
We didn't even bring up what's his name, Tanner Houck. I think the guy that they pitching ninja did the flip on him, and he was the right-handed Chris Sale. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
Or
Yep.
so Tanner,
So-
right? That's his first name.
Think so.
Yeah,
You're
Tanner
right.
Houck, right here. And last year he was in their rotation, I believe, and he let's see what he did. He had a .53 ERA in 3 starts.
Yeah, so
So,
definitely some promise.
I mean, 17 innings to 1 earned run.
yeah. How many
and 3
strikeouts?
starts.
How many strikeouts?
21 strikeouts, 17 innings.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
So,
Yeah. He
I
could be
mean,
a piece for them.
yeah, we didn't even bring him up. I mean, I could possibly see him getting a rotation start over Nick Pivetta. I mean,
Yep.
we don't know yet, but,
I mean
look out for him. I'm just
might
saying that's a name to watch.
that might be determined in spring. I mean, he could win that job.
Yeah.
So yeah, can this pitching stay healthy? That is the biggest question mark with the Red Sox, no doubt about it. Let's go over the Tampa Bay Rays. We ranked them 13th. There's subtractions. They lost Hunter Renfroe, Aaron Loop, Blake Snell got traded over to the Padres. Charlie Morton, he went to the Braves. Jose Alvarado went to the Phillies. They traded John Curtis. Aaron Sledgers went over to the Angels. Nate Lau, and they lost Kevin Smith. Why don't you go over the additions?
Yeah, they got to replace Snell and Morton. They brought in Colin McHugh, 41-year-old Rich Hill, and a familiar face in Chris Archer. They added Hunter Strickland for the pen. They got Luis Patino in that trade, who's going to be really good for them.
Oh, yeah.
That's the best part of the trade.
Yep.
Francisco Mejia was also in that trade for Snell. And then they got Michael Waka, another guy to try to replace Snell and Morton. Chaz Rowe re-signed and Mike Zunino re-signed with the Rays.
Okay, let's talk about, before we hop into the lineup and the pitching. Let's ask that question. Did they do enough to replace Snell and Morton? We all know that the Rays are unorthodox. They're unlike any other team. They only like to go 4 or 5 innings, right? And then they turn it over to the bullpen. They lost some pretty good pieces in that bullpen too.
Yeah, I know. For me, I really, you're gonna think I'm crazy for this, but I really like the Rich Hill addition.
Okay.
Just because even though he has his injury issues,
Yep.
when he's healthy, he constantly produces. So, if you can get Rich Hill through 4 innings of work every time that he's pitching,
Yeah.
and that's all you need from him, it's kind of like the perfect fit. As far as the McHugh, he didn't pitch last year. Archer didn't pitch last year because of injury. And then Michael Waka wasn't great for the Mets. But, hey, it's the Tampa Bay Rays, and they fix a lot of guys.
They do.
So,
They do indeed. Chris Archer's an interesting one for me. I mean, they gave him, what, a 1 year, $5 million contract. A guy whose best years were pitching in Tropicana Field. So maybe return to some familiarity, back with an old pitching coach, maybe that'll help him turn it around. I mean, what a disaster trade that was for the Pirates. We'll get into that when we talk about in the NL East, but man,
Central, buddy.
Central, sorry, NL Central. But I mean, let's look at this let's look at this lineup. So they got Mike Zunino and Mejia, who might share some time at catcher. You got G-Man Choi at first, Brian Lau at second, Willie Adames at third, Joey Wendell at short, Randy Arozarena in left, Kiermaier in center, and Manuel Margot in right, and Austin Meadows falls to that DH spot. Why don't you go over that rotation like you mentioned?
Yeah, we got Tyler Glasnow. Blake thinks he's the best pitcher in the league. I don't know if you guys heard that episode, but
tune in. That's episode ago.
Blake's a big Tyler Glasnow guy, I guess.
Guy.
Yeah. Ryan Yarbrough, who's a funky lefty.
Yep.
Chris Archer, Rich Hill, Michael Waka. So, and then the bullpen, Nick Anderson, Pete Fairbanks, Diego Castillo. It still looks nasty back there.
Yep.
If they can just get it to that 7, 8, and 9 spot, they should be able to win a lot of games. But you're relying on relievers who have down years. Mm-hmm. So sometimes they have up years, sometimes they have down years. It's definitely roll the dice, but I'm sure they have some other relievers that they're expecting to do well too. That will just take the spot.
They always find like hidden gems, and you come out. This guy's never heard of him, and he's out here throwing 99, 100. It's like, oh, all right, no, another guy down there that can throw gas. But
yep.
So Randy Arozarena went off in the postseason. Everybody knows that he hit 10 home runs in the postseason. Is it unfair to expect that production from Arozarena? Because it's safe to say pitchers are going to figure this guy out, and he's going to have to adjust. I mean, you look for a guy like Trevor Story, a guy that came up and hit all those home runs, and then he struggled, right? Pitchers kind of adjusted to him, and then the batter has to make that adjustment again. So, what do you think about Arozarena going into this season?
I wouldn't expect the production of the playoffs just because that's unrealistic.
Yeah, yeah,
It's definitely one of the most hot stretches that we've ever seen.
yeah.
Um, but I will say, if he can even be a 280 with 30 bombs and he's driving in 100, I
Yeah,
mean, it's obviously you'll take that all every day of the week.
yeah.
So, he's definitely one of the most interesting names to watch out for this year.
Mhm.
I'm hoping that he continues on and the Rays get this star that they usually lack.
Yeah.
That would be fun. But I mean, I think for sure it'd be unfair to expect that postseason production.
Okay, let's go over to the Blue Jays. We have them ranked 10th in baseball. Let's talk about the subtractions. They let go of Travis Shaw, Chase Anderson, Anthony Bass, Taiwan Walker, Ken Giles, Matt Shoemaker, Jonathan VR, and my two favorite guys they let go is Derek Fisher and Shun Yamaguchi. I was so happy they let those guys go. But why don't you go over the additions? Just a great offseason for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, obviously the big name George Springer.
Yeah.
They got Tyler Chatwood to throw in the pen. Steven Matz, Kirby Yates. We'll see what he can be.
Yep.
He had some surgery on his elbow.
Mhm.
Marcus Semien, who's coming off a down year, but kind of picked up production in October in the playoffs. Francisco Liriano, who hasn't pitched in a year, but they'll use him out of the pen.
Yep.
David Phelps, a familiar friend, came back. And Tommy Malone was recently signed as some starting pitching depth. So obviously, yeah, great offseason. You just have to look at three moves to call it a great offseason. That's Springer, Yates, and Semien.
Yep.
If all those guys live up to their hype, the Blue Jays are substantially better.
Yeah, so for me, obviously, they're still lacking that number two pitcher, right, behind
Yeah.
Ryu. I mean, you could argue that Ryu is not an ace either, right? I mean, he's probably a really good number two. I mean, he's the Blue Jays ace, but on good teams like on the Dodgers, he's not their ace, right? So they're lacking that like a guy like Rizzi would be a perfect fit for the Blue Jays on paper, right? To bring him in behind Ryu. Nate Pearson's been having some groin problems in spring training, so keep an eye on that. But it'll be interesting to see who wins that fifth spot, or if they go to a 6-man rotation, because Chatwood, who has done both, Steven Matz, I think he's looked good in spring so far. He's probably gonna to get a spot in the rotation. So what do you think they do with Tanner Roark?
I think he's in the rotation. I think they'll just swing a 6-man rotation, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
I
So
mean, you're paying him $12 million. You've got to either play him or trade him, right?
just the way
And obviously, nobody's wants him.
the way they ended in the play, he was left off the postseason roster. So,
Yeah.
obviously some bad blood between him and Charlie Montoya, possibly. Let's go over this lineup. I mean, you got Danny Jansen at catcher, you got Vlad Jr. at first. Simeon makes a position change. He's going to play second base for the Blue Jays. Kevin Biggio goes from second to third this year. They keep Bo Bichette at second. You got Gurriel in left, Springer in center, and Teoscar Hernandez in right. And then Grichuk and Tellez, I think they're probably going to platoon in that DH spot. I mean, Grichuk, he was our starting right fielder last year. And now with the Blue Jays getting these pieces in like Springer and center, he goes to the bench and makes the team a little deeper. So what do you think about this lineup on paper? And like if you were to say like they need one more ad, what do you think it would be?
I think the one more ad would have been a guy like Marcell Ozuna, just a pure run producer.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot of promise on paper, a lot of young guys. I'm not as high on the Blue Jays right now as, some people in the media or I guess other. Oh, I just got a tweet. Jays are among teams showing a lot of interest in Jake Odorizzi. So there you go. Perfect timing.
There we go. Yeah.
John Heyman.
I just said Odorizzi could be a perfect fit. A little breaking news. So
Okay.
I would be
I'm not as high on this lineup just because I feel like there's a lot of growing pains still to go through. Obviously, experience in MLB is very big. Bichette, Biggio, Vlad going on their third season already. Can't believe that.
yeah, it's because that I didn't think they played a whole 162 game season.
No, in 3 years.
So
it's
crazy.
Teoscar, obviously, he had a breakout last year.
Yep.
We'll see if he can do that again. Gurriel's got a good stick. He's not great defensively.
Hey, you want a Gold Glove, buddy? Come on.
Yeah.
Hey, but
So
Justin
Justin Upton
Marcel's gonna want a
also.
Gold Glove too. So
Yeah.
put that
So
aside.
I'm not as high on it just because I feel like they need one more piece.
Yeah.
Springer's a great, like Semien to me is a really good complementary piece.
Mhm.
Um, but it's not like even when Semien was on the A's, I still think Matt Chapman's their best player.
And Olsen, I put Olsen ahead
Yeah.
of them too. So
Yeah.
the thing
So
about me for me is though, you got all this young talent, right? You bring a guy like Springer, who is a proven winner, right? He knows how to. He's a pro, right? He's a
yeah.
professional hitter. You bring him in there. I think just Simeon's and Springer's presence in camp and push. I think it will push the Blue Jays youth to go that
No,
extra.
100%. I'm not
You know what
saying
I'm
the
saying?
needle. I'm not saying the needle hasn't been moved. I'm
Mhm.
just saying I don't view this team as like a top 5 team in the
Baseball.
AL.
Okay.
Or even we have them at ranked as number 10 in the MLB.
Yeah.
I feel like we were being a little generous even putting them there. We haven't even gotten their pitching yet, but like the bullpen, they have some arms that aren't very notable. Like as far as you don't know their names. Obviously Romano and Delise has been decent, and then Yates, what can he be? But
The
to
thing is,
me,
I don't think there's gonna be a set closer at a camp. I think it's gonna be by committee. I think
yeah,
Romano's gonna save games, Delise is gonna save games, Yates is gonna save games. So let's go with the starting five. I mean, you got Ryu, Robbie
yeah.
Ray.
And if Pearson's out, then you got Roark, Matt, Stripling. Like that, I don't feel good about. I feel good about Stripling. I want to feel good about Robbie Ray, but we don't know.
Can he dial in his walk rate? I mean, he's
Yeah,
got good stuff. He's got good stuff. He's got a good breaking ball. He's got a good changeup. He's got an electric fastball, but he's got to limit his walks. I mean, Steven Matz has the same problem. He walks a
yeah.
lot of guys. He's got a high strikeout rate. His K per nines are really good, but I mean, he walks so many batters. Stripling is a good security blanket to have. I think. I mean, he's a guy that can pitch in the pen.
Dude, he's
Um,
pitched great when he's in the rotation for the Dodgers. I don't understand why he's not penciling as your number 3 starter.
like
Honestly, for me, I got Stripling. Even though Robbie Ray's got better stuff,
yeah.
you know, I'm gonna have. I would pencil in Stripling before I pencil in Ray, just because of the consistency he's shown when he's in the rotation.
Interesting. Yeah. No, it'll be interesting to see what they do because if they go to a traditional 5-man rotation or if they go to that 6-man rotation, just kind of spread out all the innings. So
Yep.
obviously, some of the questions that surround the Blue Jays is can they hang with the Yankees? I mean, we'll get to the Yankees in a second here, but you look at the Blue Jays rotation, you look at the Yankees rotation behind Garrett Cole and behind Ryu, it's pretty slim pickings.
Yeah, I mean he looked
Kluber's
good in
look
his
good.
first spring training start, but that's spring training.
Um, can Ryu pitch a full season? He was healthy all year last year, didn't miss a start, obviously shortened season.
Yeah.
And a question that I have, can this be Vlad Jr.'s coming out party? I mean, the Blue Jays, in order for
Yeah.
them to take down the Yankees and take over that division, one of these stars needs to break out, whether it's
Well,
Guerrero.
that's what I'm saying. You need that big star in that middle of the order. If Vlad's going to be the guy, he's got to be the guy. If he's not, then you got to add somebody.
Well,
Like if you guys would have added Arenado in via trade, I would be looking at the Blue Jays like, oh, dang,
yeah.
like this team, this team's looking really, really nasty.
So
But
if Guerrero can break out, or if Bichette can go break out, he showed some really good potential here to start his MLB career. So Blue Jays are an interesting team, man. They're on the uprise. I like that they're finally spending money, right? They bring in Springer on that massive contract. I think it was $150 million 6-year deal. So we'll shift over to the Yankees. We have them number 5 in baseball. The notable subtractions: Adam Ottavino, Tommy Kahnle, Jay Happ, James Paxton, and Masahiro Tanaka went back to Japan. Why don't you go over the additions? It's a long list.
yeah, I mean, a lot of depth moves here at the top. We got Jay Bruce, Derek Dietrich, Robinson Chirinos. They just brought back Brett Gardner, which is a good glue piece.
Yep.
Then you got Darren O'Day sliding in that pen. Kyle Barklow, Justin Wilson, Adam Warren, and then obviously they traded for Jameson Taillon, and we'll get into him, but you know, he could be good. We'll see.
Yeah.
They brought back DJ LeMahieu, which was the priority number 1 for them.
Yep.
And then obviously another big question mark, but could be, the biggest steal of the offseason, Corey Kluber.
Mm-hmm.
So it's getting this lineup. They got Gary behind the plate, maybe Chirino / Higashioka.
Yeah.
That's I could see Chirinos taking it, but we'll see. Gary's been okay in spring. Only been a couple games, obviously. Luke Voigt, who is starting to be one of the best power hitters in the game.
He had a breakout year last year in that shortened season.
DJ LeMahieu at second, Gio Urshela at third, or Andujar. We'll see.
Yep.
Gleyber Torres at short, Gardner in left, or Frazier. Then we got Hicks in center. Can he stay healthy? Aaron Judge in right. Obviously, they're big, and then Giancarlo Stanton. Both of them also have some injury questions around them. So
the biggest thing for me is the rotation. We'll talk about this right now. Of course, you got Garrett Cole, the $300 man up front. He's your ace. You got Kluber behind him, Jameson Taillon behind him. Is Herman gonna pitch? Is it gonna be Jordan Montgomery? Is Severino gonna come back off?
Davy Garcia.
Davy Garcia, he's another guy. So the thing is, for me, like, you look at Severino, Tommy John. Kluber hasn't pitched in 2 years. Taillon didn't pitch at all last year. So, I mean, Herman suspended. There's so many question marks in this rotation that, I mean, the Yankees, they're going to have to outslug some teams to win a lot of ball games, right?
Yeah, and luckily they play in a pretty bad division. I mean, you got the Jays right there. Tampa, we'll see what they – obviously, I think Tampa's going to bounce back and they're going to be fine.
Yeah.
But after that, you get to play Boston's starting rotation, which got better, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get to face the Orioles, like 20 times. So, right there. But I think the biggest problem with the AL East is that they're going to have to play the NL East as their interleague opponent. And the NL East is stacked. That's what we're getting to next. But, when you have to play those teams, and then you got the AL West having to play the NL West, which is pretty weak outside of the Padres and Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the AL Central playing the NL Central, NL Central is probably the weakest division in baseball if it's not the AL Central. They're both weak. I could see only one team getting a wild card spot out of this division.
Yeah, like the Blue Jays could have a great year, right? But
yeah.
I mean, the Blue Jays could have a great year and finish behind the Yankees, but still miss, because you look over the Central, you got the White Sox and
and the Twins.
So
I mean, and then the Indians, I mean, they're not good, but they have Bieber, Plesac, Tristan McKenzie,
and they still got some hitters up front. I mean, we'll get into the Indians when we talk about the Central.
But my main point, I didn't mean wild card spot. I meant a whole playoff spot.
Yeah.
I think that only one team could be making from this division just based off the fact that they're going to have the hardest schedule in baseball.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Okay, can Judge stay healthy? Huge question, right? I mean, he's a huge part of that offense.
He's got new teeth now.
He's got new teeth. But can his body hold up in a 162-game season? That's a big question mark.
But he's got new teeth, bro.
What can we get from what can we get from Corey Kluber? I mean, this guy hasn't pitched in 2 seasons, like I said. So to ask Corey Kluber to go back to 2016, 2017 Kluber, that's so unrealistic to ask.
Yeah. I mean, they don't need that from Kluber. They just need a guy that's going to get them through 5. Their bullpen's still stacked. We didn't even get into that. They got Chapman. They got Britton. They got O'Day.
They got Green still. So, they're loaded. 100%.
Yeah. The bullpen that's why they're ranked so high on our ranking. I mean, It's the bullpen. If you can it's the same thing as Tampa Bay Rays. If you can get them through 5, the bullpen's looking pretty promising. But just remember, Aaron Judge does have new teeth, so he may stay healthy now.
He looks pretty good, I must say.
Yeah,
It,
nah.
it makes
You know,
him
we're
look
poking
really good.
fun. We're
It
poking
makes
fun,
him
but
look
nah,
really-
he looks good. He looks good.
I mean, he had that big gap in his front 2 teeth and got that cleaned up. He looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, we're making jokes about him, but I must say, that'll do it for this AL East breakdown. The next episode we will be coming out with is the NL East, and we'll kind of break down that division. But thank you guys for tuning in and listening.
Yeah, take care, guys.